Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tricentennial Parade. It's been billed as the greatest show on earth, and if you had a copy of the parade lineup, as I have here before me, I think you'd have to agree with it. We have a lot of folks to thank. We'll do that as the day progresses. Let me just suggest to some of you folks that are at home that I know might be videotaping the parade, you better get an extra tape, because we're told that the parade is going to be at least 2 hours, perhaps 2.5, maybe even 3 hours. So if you want to get it all, have another tape standing by. Some of the first units that are coming on camera now, the Albany Motor Police Unit, and we thank Chief John Reed for the help that he gave us in organizing this part of the parade. Followed by the Blue Knights of the New York Motorcycle Unit, the Albany Police Department Color Guard, the Albany Fire Department Honor Guard.
Formed in 1980.
There they are, folks. Albany's finest. Followed by the Blue Knights of the New York Motorcycle Unit, and the Albany Police Department Color Guard is just behind them, with the Albany Police Department Mounted Patrol. And again, we have to thank Chief John Reed for his help in securing this position for us, and Inspector Coleman, Captain. There they are, blowing their horns. On camera now, we have the Albany Police Department Color Guard, preceded and escorted by the new Albany Mounted Patrol, as you might recall, instituted this year at the suggestion and the idea of Albany Mayor Thomas Whalen. They cut a fine figure, and I understand that they're doing a great job around town. Let's take a look at the Albany Police Department Color Guard, being led by Deputy Chief John Dale. Next coming on camera, we have the color guard of the Albany Fire Department, our first line of defense, with Chief Johnny Moran closest to the camera on the inside. And we salute Johnny, and all those stripes on his arms means, I think they each mean 4 years of service, so we're looking at 20 or more years of service from Chief John Moran and the Albany Fire Department Honor Guard. The next unit in the parade, the Albany Police Pipes and Drums, with their honor guard. Here they come.
Formed in 1984, the Albany Police Pipe and Drums first marched in the 1986 St. Patrick's Day Parade. They have recently relieved their kicks from Scotland and are fully uniformed. They wear the McKinsey Terrian, which was worn by the Dukes of the Albany's Regiment. Special thank you to Police Chief John Reed, the Albany Police Department, Schenectady Trust, Albany and Schenectady and Troy Hibernians, and the New York State Council on the Arts.
All right, let's give a listen now, folks, to the Albany Police Pipes and Drums. following the Albany Police Pipe and Drum Corps, we have Lou Swire, the General Chairman of the Tricentennial year. And Lou, you're doing a great job. We congratulate you, marching with our Honorable Mayor Thomas Whalen, who also is doing a great job. Congratulations. Here we have some of our dignitaries, our New York State Senator Howard Nolan, Alderman Tom Birch, who is chairman of the parade, United States Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, Assemblyman Paul Tonka, Assemblyman Dick Connors. We have Judge Safranco, Joe Bix, a good friend, County Legislator Harold Greenstein, City Comptroller Chuck Hemingway, candidate for Comptroller, I think, of the state of New York, John Dyson, Steve McCardle, President of the Common Council, Nick Coluccio, Jerry Jennings, Judge Dave Duncan, Alderwoman Nancy Burton, Judge Tom Kiggin on the other side looks quite relaxed today in his sports shirt and slacks. We see Tom Birch, we see Philly DePace, and my goodness, they're all here. Everybody's out today. There's Sheriff Infante, Jerry Maney from the Corporation Counsel's office, Charlie Cal, the chairman of the Albany County Legislature, Harry Michaels, Harry the First, representing the 1st District on the Albany County Legislature, Eleanor Billmeyer, another member of the Albany County Legislature, Paul Collins, another member of the Albany County Legislature, John Burns, there's Congressman Sam Stratton. There they are, all of Albany's best and finest. We're in good hands now because they're all in the parade. They can't legislate against us today. The honor.
Okay, we have the company's military historians following them. This organization is part of a nonprofit educational, scientific, and literary institution devoted to the study and dissemination of information on American military history. The company contributions to the Albany Tricentennial include the creation of Mayor Whalen's Honor Guard, the Fort Orange Garrison, comprised of musketeers and pikemen, uniformed in the style of 1624. Following in the parade are the rest of the soldiers of Albany, a living history pageant of uniformed figures representing those Albanians who have for 300 years risked and given their lives for our country.
Military historians. I think I see Marilyn O'Brien, the mayor of the city of Waterville. To his right is a gentleman I don't recognize at the moment. Behind them we have General John Baker, who we understand from Colonel Joyce contributed, or Major Joyce, I think, contributed a great deal to this parade vis-a-vis the military inclusions. We have General Mr. Joyce and Mr. Horan. Yes, there's Pete Horan in the second car. Leo O'Brien, the mayor of Waterville, in the second car up on the bandstand, Pete Horan. And once again, General Baker, General Shea, and Mr. Joyce. Let's take a look at some of the antique cars. Kim, do your back research at the library right now. You got a chance here.
Okay, we'd like to extend a special thanks to the Albany County Library for the use of their building and their facilities. We'd also like to thank our producer, John Searin. The director is John Drisgy. Our crew is Bruce Jennings, John Malone, Philip Schmidt, Kevin Morrow, Todd Aubrey, and Gerald Giuseppe. Our very special thanks to WRPI and John Flanagan for the use of their audio and video equipment. And again, a very special thanks to the Albany Public Library. William O'Connor is our acting director today.
Here we have some of the other Albanys in the country and in the world. Albany, Utah, Albany, Australia, Albany, Minnesota, Albany, New Zealand, Albany, Texas, and we can't see the last three cars, but we're sure that they have some fine contingents of the national and international VIPs that have agreed to join us here in this year's parade. We thank them one and all for coming to our great city to help us celebrate our great Tricentennial. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Ron Townsend, former Commissioner of Tax and Finance.
We would like to also extend a special thanks to Don Morrow, who is the headquarters of the Military Management Command, the 10th Mountain Division veteran.
Okay, the last car in the VIP motorcade, automobilists of the Upper Hudson Valley, and here we have, last but not least, certainly, and welcome to this great Tricentennial, the delegation from Albany, Georgia. Welcome, folks. Nice to see you.
Before I give you the history on the band, we'd like to thank the people who had special accomplishments in getting the band here today. Pipe Major Jack Ingen, Drum Major Tom Gallagher, Pipe Sergeant Patrick Green, Drum Sergeant Desmond O'Hulan, Pipe Corporal George Hartigan. The Pipes and Drums of the New York State Courts was formed on April 1st, 1976. This year marks our 10th anniversary. The main purpose of our existence is to preserve the Celtic culture, especially in the fields of music, and to create a friendly and fraternal spirit among its members. Band members are comprised of court officers, court clerks of the criminal, civil, and family courts, as well as the Supreme Court of New York State, and came from the counties of Suffolk, Nassau, Queens, Greene, New York, Bronx, Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, and Orange. On March 31st, 1982, Governor Hugh L. Carey honored the band by naming it the official representative of New York State.
Let's give a listen now to the Pipes and Drums, the famous New York City Courts. The New York State Pipe Band as designated by former Governor Hugh Carey. Let's listen now. Pipe and Drum Band, we have the visiting honor guards from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and East Providence, Rhode Island. We thank them from coming a long distance from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and East Providence. Following them, we have some international VIPs who have agreed to join us here today. And here we have the members of the Tricentennial staff that we'd like to thank very much for working so hard. A lot of hours went into the making of the Tricentennial celebration, and certainly a great deal of time went into the making of this parade. The next unit in the parade is the Colonel Peter Gansport, 3rd Regiment Pipes and Drums.
Okay, this unit is from the Utica area and is sponsored by Oneida Historical Society. The Corps is dressed in authentic 3rd New York Regiment uniforms according to regulations of 1779. They are carrying authentic muskets and play Revolutionary War music. Thank you to Mr. Robert F. Van Halen, the Corps founder.
The Colonel Peter Gansport, 3rd Regiment Pipes and Drums. Great outfit. The next unit we have coming on camera now is the New York State Federation of Long Hunters that date from 1750 to date. They have an encampment out at the old Stevens Farm that will be there through Sunday evening. You're all invited out to see how they lived and we lived back in the early 1700s. The New York Federation of Long Hunters.
These people have come all the way from Cuyahoga Lake, president being Edward White. By the mid-1600s, Europe could no longer keep up with its rapidly growing demand for beaver pelts, pew, or fine furs. It looked hopefully to new untapped sources of supply, the American wilderness. For the next 2 centuries, legendary men and women would travel deep into this unknown virgin land. They would risk their lives daily and undergo great hardships in pursuit of the wealth of the wilderness and furs. If a man was skilled enough to survive the winter trapping season, he would gather up his catch and travel many miles to trade his furs at a prearranged place called the Rendezvous. The members of the New York State Federation of Long Hunters gather throughout the year at various sites to portray this living history at its best. You are invited to stop back into time and experience this colorful part of history on Sunday, July 20th from 10 to 2 at the Old Normanskill Dairy Farm.
The next unit, unit number 17, is the Brigade of the American Revolution that are going to provide us with a little field music, and I think I'd interpret that as music to go to war by. So let's take a look and give a listen to the Brigade of the American Revolution field music.
Most of the men playing fifes and drums in this unit are veterans. Many have been playing for 30 years. All authentic 18th century music is a mixture of several nations.
Following the Brigade of the American Revolution field music, which just passed in review, we have the Brigade of the American Revolution. What do you think of them? What do you think of those costumes? It's marvelous how over the years organizations such as Brigade maintain and keep a growing interest in the American Revolution. It brings us back to our history, and it's certainly a great part of our future. Behind them, we have the 2nd Detachment of the Brigade of the American Revolution.
And a special thanks to the Brigade Commander, George Woodbridge, who brought these people down here today. The Brigade Trustee is John Anson.
Following the Brigade of the American Revolution, we have several military units, which I'll review with you. The 19th Unit, the 10th Mountain Division, United States Army. The 20th Unit, the 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing Band. The 21st Unit, the Headquarters Military Management Command. Hold your ears, folks. Okay, I'm glad they were aimed the other way. The 22nd Unit, the Seneca Army Depot.
Okay, the Brigade of the American Revolution field music was formed in 1962. However, many of its musicians' fife and drum experience goes back even further. The director of the group is Ray Hawley, and the assistant director is Bill Free.
Into the military continues. The 10th Mountain Division, as I understand, stationed up at Fort Drum up in Watertown, Jefferson County. The 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing Band, the Headquarters Management Company, and the Seneca Army Depot.
The 1st Battalion, 22nd Infantry, is a regular Army unit assigned to the 10th Mountain Division stationed at Fort Drum, New York. The battalion is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Robert M. Hessler. And the 2nd Marine Aircraft Unit Wingers Band is stationed at Cherry Point, North Carolina. It is commanded by Warrant Officer Roxanne Haskell. The drum major is Sergeant Gary Losher. The band was founded in 1941 and averages 48 parade appearances each year. This band also participated in the 4th of July celebrations down in New York City. Engineer Battalion, a United States Army Reserve, is stationed in Schenectady, New York. They are commanded by Captain Timothy Sinnott. These combat engineers trace their history back to 1944. During World War II, the United participated in the Rhineland campaign in Europe. The unit was also called into active service in 1961 during the Berlin crisis crisis when it was assigned to Fort Devon, Massachusetts. The unit members recently completed their 2 weeks of annual training at the post where they constructed ranges, control towers, and repaired roads. Using their engineering skills, unit members work on 2 civic action projects each year with their local communities. Following them is the Color Guard Headquarters Military Traffic Management.
Right. Here we are, folks, now following the 10th Mountain Division from Fort Drum in Watertown, Jefferson County, New York. We have one of the greatest marching bands in the country, the 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing Band.
Okay, as previously mentioned, the 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing Band is stationed from Cherry Point, North Carolina. The commander is Roxanne Haskell, and the drum major is Sergeant Gary Lozer. This was the band that participated in the 4th of July celebration down in New York.
North Carolina, flew up here very early this morning. They're going to be with us at the conclusion of the parade, back in an aircraft and back to Cherry Point. But it's been a pleasure having them here. We really have to thank Colonel Major Baker and Ray Joyce and all the military people that took part in the planning of this parade. We've got some great military groups here. As you can see, one of the finest bands in the country.
Following them will be the 5-man color guard representing the headquarters of the military traffic out of Bayonne, New Jersey. The command is stationed on a 437-acre man-made peninsula that extends 2.5 miles into the New York Harbor, and it is the busiest military ocean terminal in the free world. This organization is commanded by Brigadier General Paul C. Hurley, a native of Glens Falls, New York, and is responsible for the surface movement of Department of Defense cargo during peace and war throughout its area of responsibility.
During this break in the line of march, folks, I'll take you through the next 10 or 15 or 20 or so units, so you'll have an idea of what's in store. It's going to be a great parade. We're just reached the coming off the peak of the parade, and believe me, there's many more units to go, and I'm sure as fine music and performances as we've seen so far. Following the Tennessee Army Depot, which you've heard about, we have the Mohawk Valley 76ers Drum and Drill Corps, the United States Coast Guard Reserve. We have a TV news car from Channel 10. We'll have the Mohawk Ambulance Company, the American Red Cross, and the Yankee Doodle Fort Craylow Band, a favorite always of Albany from Rensselaer, New York. Following them, our Rensselaer Pollock Technical Institute NASA glider, the Tribute Time Capsule, the Civil Air Patrol, the Ellington All-Star Drill Team, and next up, the Elks Marching Band, led by past Exalted Ruler and great Albanian Jack Duggan.
The Seneca Army Depot in Romulus, New York is represented by 40 members of the 295th Military Police Company, led by Sergeant First Class Robert H. Haas. The installation, which is located in the Finger Lakes region, is part of the depot commanded United States Army and responsible for the receipt, storage, issue, and rehabilitation of military equipment. The depot employs over 100 civilians and 500 military personnel and is celebrating its 45th year of operation. And following the Seneca Army Depot will be the Mohawk Valley 76ers Drum and Drill Corps. Today, I've traveled from Herkimer, New York today at the direction of Jay Cargrove, as I said, from Herkimer, New York. Following that will be a band representing the U.S. Coast Guard. Okay, and following that will be the Mohawk Ambulance. This provides full professional service to the residents of the Capital District. A special thank you to Mr. Sam Madia, float consultant, for his hard work and diligence.
Well, we have a break here in the marching action, folks. I'd like to take an opportunity, and doing it now is probably the best time, to thank the members of the parade committee. Mr. Tom Birch, Alderman from the City of Albany, General Chairman Betty Elliott, was co-chairman Major General John C. Baker, who we thanked previously for his help in getting in some of these great military units. Was the parade adjutant Sherry and Tom Putney, were the awards committee for the parade. David Elliott, communications. Julia and Warden Cadbury were the hosts and hostesses for some of the dignitaries that came to town. Martha, Pat Hughes, and Bonnie Hahn took care of the housing of all the various units. You realize that we had units at every hotel in town. We had some marching band, high school marching bands that were housed out of the State University, and we thank them for their accommodation. So housing was a big job, and Bonnie, we salute you for the job that you did. Bob Burns, parade marshals, Don Metzer, parade service, Del and Ray Kinley, receptions at the Plaza Refreshments. Tom Birch III was in charge of the vendors. Marcia Codling in charge of the volunteers. Melissa Palmer and Betty Sonburn were chairman of the float designs. Ed Lang, chairman of the children's division. Jerry Jennings and Peter Horan, the ethnic and fraternal organizations. Mike Messenheimer, the float construction. Herbie Goldstein, a good friend, in charge of vehicles. Ginny Kopp and Helen Novak, float sponsors. Andrew Bernstein, Kirkman 3 Inc., souvenirs program and publicity. Sandy Elliott, charge of transportation committee. Betty Crummy and Joanne London, task force chairman. Tricentennial office was located here right behind us at 155 Washington Avenue. A beehive of activity, and a special thanks to all the folks on the program committee whose names I just recited for you. There is a program, a souvenir program of the Tricentennial parade, which was delivered here this morning. It's a very handsome book with three skyline shots of the city of Albany. I don't know where they'll be located, but I'm sure if you call the Tricentennial office at 155 Washington Avenue, they'd be able to assist you in locating a copy of the parade. Some credits on the parade go to Andy Bernstein, the editor of the program, Gail Reynolds, the assistant editor, Karen Elliott, Lisa Honig, administrative assistants, Albany High Key Club sales, Barry, Betty, and Duke Inc. Transportation. Let's give another listen now to the 2nd Marine Aircraft Spring Band, and what a great job they did.
They do provide very needed service to all residents of the Capital District.
Channel 10 TV News Car. Mohawk Ambulance Company, followed by what should be obvious to all representatives of a great organization, the American Red Cross. Let's take a look at that float. Following the American Red Cross, ladies and gentlemen, we have the great band of the City of Albany High School Falcons, We see Principal John Hahn. Oh, sorry now. It's Deputy Superintendent of Schools John Hahn marching alongside David Brown, our Superintendent of Schools. The other folks we aren't quite in the focus, but the young lady on the far outside, my far left, in the purple suit, deserves a great deal of thanks. Harriet Sacca, the Director of Music for the Albany High School music system, a great gal, and provides us with a great band.
This is the Albany High School Marching Band representing the City School District of Albany. Director of the band is Mr. Donald F. Litzig.
The Albany High School Marching Band.
Following the Albany High School Band is the Yankee Doodle Band from Fort Craylow, American Legion Post number 1471. Their home is in Rensselaer, New York, and the director of the band is Owen Johnson, Jr.
Right behind the red sign coming up the middle, it says Rensselaer. Can you see it? time capsule being adorned by some lovely folks and some young folks, and all very naughtily dressed in their aerospace costumes. Following the time capsule, we have a float created, and very original float, Reach for the Stars is its title, created by the Civil Air Patrol. Following the Civil Air Patrol marching unit, we see the Ellington All-Star Drill Team and the Elks IBPOEW Wellington All-Stars 194, Albany, New York. The Civil Air Patrol, passing in review.
Okay, the Civil Air Patrol is a volunteer civilian auxiliary of the United States Air Force. The organization is made up of aviation-minded citizens committed to serving the nation. They perform search and rescue missions, plus many other vital functions. Civil Air Patrol was organized in the Albany area during World War II, and today the group has over 60 active pilots and 7 active cadet squadrons.
Following the CAP, and passing in review at the moment, we have the Ellington All-Star Drill Team. Let's take a look. Following the Ellington All-Stars, ladies and gentlemen, we have once again Jack Duggan, past exalted ruler of Elks Lodge 39 here in Albany, New York, leading the Elks Marching Band. The Elks Marching Band was formed many years ago, and much to the surprise of some folks, myself included, it took Jack Duggan to revive the idea and get the Elks on the street again, and we'd like to congratulate Jack. He's done a lot for Lodge 39 at their new home up on Allen Street. Very hard worker, and I think you're going to hear the results in just a minute. The Elks Marching Band, followed by BPOE 49, Elks Lodge 49, Albany, New York. Let's give a listen.
They're located in the city of Albany, and the director of the band is Mr. Jack Dugan. Let's go to listen now to the Elks Lodge 49 Marching Band. Jack Dugan, the mailman.
Here they are, the members of Elks Lodge 49 here in Albany, New York, led by their Grand Exalted ruler, Bill O'Toole, right in the middle of the line of march. Great bunch of guys, a lovely hall, and I'm sure that there'll be a lot of activities up there this evening. If you'd like to stop by, it's on Allen Street, just in off Madison Avenue. And here we have the Ladies Auxiliary from the BPOE Lodge 49 being led with the banner and by Polly Noonan and some of her helpers there. A great bunch.
We do have representatives here today from 13 different Elks Lodges, Albany, Colony, Bethlehem, Schenectady, Guilderland, Rotterdam, Watervliet, Cobleskill, Gloversville, Niskayuna, the New Scotland, Amsterdam, and the Esperance.
Following the unit of the United States Coast Guard Reserve station here in Albany, New York, we think we have a float provided by the Freihofer ESIPA float committee. No, we're sorry, folks. This is a float of the present Tulip Queen and past Tulip Queen.
Our Tulip Queen for this year is Maria Palumbo. And the girls look lovely today out in their spring white.
Cars provided courtesy of Army Garage for some past Tulip Queens, and what a lovely bunch. The judges that have handled the Tulip Festival here in Albany certainly did a marvelous job in picking their winners, and certainly the Queen's Court members. The next float that we see in the 6th Division would be the Freihofer ESIPA float. Let's take a look at this Freihofer float here. Great thing. A little noisy at this point, though.
Okay, this self-sculptured Fantasyland featuring famous fairy tale characters from the repertoire of childhood classics of ESIPA at the Egg. America's favorite rag doll, Raggedy Ann, pops out of the rag box to spread the love from her candy heart to all the children of Albany. Peter Pan and the treacherous Captain Hook came all the way from Never Neverland to share the stage with the beautiful Cinderella and her pumpkin coach.
Following the Freihofer ESIPA float, we have a bright blue, tricolored blue and white float prepared and presented by the Albany Boys Club. With some of the, I guess some of the young members there, yeah, and there seems to be a feminine connection there. I don't know. There they are. They must be.
The Albany Boys Club sponsors recreational and youth development programs for boys and girls that provide the opportunity to learn the rights and responsibilities of living in our community. The group's float, built by the club members and staff, celebrates Albany's past and depicts its future, its youth. Thank you very much to to the ESCO Warehouse, Ehrlich Auto Parts for the construction space.
Following the former Albany float, the Freihofer ESIPA float, the Albany Boys Club coming on camera now, followed by the Highlanders Pipe and Drum Corps, and we see behind them a regiment from the Christian Brothers Academy. So let's give a listen now to the great pipe band. Why don't you move out of there? You got a microphone there that can strike. Pipe band from Holyoke, Mass. And we welcome them. Let's give a listen now, folks.
Caledonian Pipe Band. We do have representatives here from the Christian Brothers Academy, located right here in downtown Albany.
The Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band, considered to be the oldest continually active pipe band in the United States, the Holyoke Caledonian Pipe Band continues to be a valuable part of the community. The band was organized in 1909 by a group of immigrant Scots and made its first appearance in uniform in the Holyoke's 1910 4th of July parade.
And here coming on camera are our local boys from the Christian Brothers Academy over on New Scotland Avenue.
Following the contingent from the Christian Brothers Academy, we have the town clowns and gaily dressed, riding their small motor scooters. Some of them, we don't see any unicycles, but there's a couple of crazy cars in the background. Maybe we'd like to take a look at those, huh?
The Christian Brothers Academy, directed by Brother William Martin.
And look at the clowns all dressed up in their colorful outfits.
Capital District Clowns on Wheels.
Clowns.
Capital District Clowns on Wheels and Town Clowns were organized members who perform at various types of functions, including birthday parties, business promotions, adult parties, parades, fairs, and festivals. Thank you to Mr. Clancy Mickey Grasso, instructor of the HVCC Clownology course, for the continued support and assistance he
Passing
provides.
interview now. Following the town clowns, we have the Albany Teen Queen. Let's take a look at this Teen Queen. Following the Albany Teen Pageant Queen, we have in Unit 42 the Borden's Dairy Incorporated 60-foot train with Elsie and Beauregard. Borden's 60-foot train with Elsie and Beauregard. Borden's old-time fire engine and Borden's 60-foot train with Elsie and Beauregard. Let's take a look. Yes. Set it down on the floor. Well, don't get nervous. There goes Elsie's Borden 60-foot train with Elsie and Beauregard, who we had a good shot of for the children. Now we'll take a look at the Borden's old fire engine, followed, as Kim has told us, by the Charlton Militia Fife and Drum Corps. We missed them. We didn't see the cow.
Coming on camera within the next 30 seconds or so will be the Fife and Drum Corps.
Carlton, the Militia Pipe and Drum Band from Carlton, New York, followed by the Hudson Valley Girl Scout Council with some of their pack leaders, and we have a car following them with some senior scouts, perhaps. Behind them, some scouts of all nations, or I think a float indicating that the scouting is worldwide.
Girl Scouting is an organization providing girls aged 5 to 17 with an opportunity to develop new skills, grow in self-confidence, make friends, and have fun serving the community. Girl Scouting is a continuous learning process that addresses both the girls' current interests and their future roles as women.
Great escape from Lake George, New York. Mr. Magoo in the saddle. Gaslight Village taxi if anybody is interested in taking a ride up to Gaslight Village in Lake George this afternoon. Well, we have the third place in Division 4 coming up now. I'm looking for I don't have too much advanced information on what's coming here. Yes, we do have some entertainment taking place here in the streets.
As you can see on camera right now, we do have representatives from the Wizard of Oz here today. There's Dorothy and the Scarecrow and I believe the Lion.
We have a float pulled by a John Deere tractor. It appears to be from Crossgate Cinema 1 and 2 or Cinema 12, entitled Music Magic from Yesterday to Today. Let's take a look. Movie magic from yesterday to today. Including Albany and its Tricentennial 300th birthday. We have another 300th birthday coming up here. It looks like it may be at Tobin's first... Yes, it is. Tobin's Smokehouse, provided to us by Tobin's First Prize. And it says, Happy Birthday, Albany, to a first prize city on its 300th. Tobin Packing Company Hot Dog Float.
Following the Tobin float, we do have representatives here from the Sons of Italy. The Italian group is headed by a Nello Pet Band from Mechanicville, playing Italian songs such as La Tarantella, Arrivederci Roma, and Funicella. The chairman for the Italian group is Joseph Leone of the Albany Sons of Italy. The Italian organizations are marching in chronological order, with the 350-member West Albany Italian Benevolent Society, founded in 1905, being the first unit. Joseph Lembo is West Albany president. The West Albany building is located at 50 Exchange Street in West Albany.
Of Pepe's Band from Amsterdam, New York, followed by a marching contingent from the West Albany Italian American Club.
Roma Intangible Lodge, number 215. Order Sons of Italy in America, chartered in 1913. Albany attorney Phil Calderon is president of the 100-member Albany Sons of Italy Italian Lodge. Marching with his lodge brothers is Peter J. D'Alessandro, holder of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Sons of Italy are also sponsoring the display of the authentic traditional Sicilian donkey cart called a caracetta, loaned to them by Tony Constantino of Amsterdam. The third unit coming down represents 450 members of the Italian-American Community Center of the Capital District, incorporated in 1973. It is located on the Washington Avenue extension in Albany. Joseph Bonello of Rensselaer is president of the IACC.
I wish I was sitting next door. Following the Italian heritage, which we see in the small donkey cart here on the back of whatever it is. I can't see what kind of a make that is, but it's an attractive vehicle. We have Troop 2 of the Albany Boy Scouts, who in their banner salutes Albany on its Tricentennial. The Boy Scouts of America, Troop 2, Albany, New York. Following the Boy Scout Troop 2 from Albany, New York, we have Troop 48 of the Boy Scouts of America, which also joins Troop 2 in saluting Albany on its Tricentennial.
And following the Boy Scouts, we have a representative from here, from the Jackie Sorensen's Aerobic Dancing.
Jackie Sorensen Aerobic Dancing and Lifestyle Programs is honored to be participating in the Tricentennial Parade, celebrating its 15th year in Albany. The group brings a safe and effective fitness program to men and women of the area. In 1985, Jackie Sorensen Aerobic Dance received the International Dance Exercise Award for the best aerobic program in the world.
And following them, we have the Service Master Band. The Service Master of Albany is a cleaning service specializing in folk, smire, and water damage. This local franchise of a nationwide company professionally cleans carpets, draperies, upholsteries, walls, hard surface floors, with 50 years of technical experience behind them.
Following the Service Master of Albany, the band of clowns, we have the most famous Clydesdale horses provided to us from through the good offices of, I'm sure, Roosh Distillers here in Albany, New York. I would like to thank folks up at Roosh for bringing them to town. They're always a welcome addition. The Budweiser Clydesdale. Let's take a look.
The Budweiser Clydesdales were formally introduced to August A. Bush Sr. and Anheuser-Busch on April 7, 1933.
Prohibition had just been repealed in 1933, and August Bush wanted to commemorate the special day. To his father's delight, the hitch thundered down Pezzastoli Street, carrying with it the first case of post-prohibition beer from the St. Louis brewery. Today, the tradition and quality of the Budweiser Clydesdales have represented for more than 50 years continues.
See now, passing in review, we have the Vermont Teddy Bear Company, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is just located here in Albany, and they brought along one of their prize specimens for us to take a look at. What a huge, huge teddy bear. Here we come now with the third place in Division 6, members of the Pittsfield, Massachusetts Parade Committee, who came over here to join with the many, many other groups from across the state and nation in saluting Albany on its Tricentennial. On camera now, the Pittsfield, Massachusetts 4th of July Parade Committee. We certainly want to welcome them and thank them for joining us here in Albany and helping us celebrate our tricentennial. Let's take a look.
As representatives of the city of Pittsfield, Massachusetts, the Pittsfield 4th of July Parade Committee will bring its patriotic theme to Albany in celebration of the capital city's 300th anniversary. The float consists of a towing vehicle covered by a blue background with white stars topped by Uncle Sam's hat.
Here's the Pittsfield, Massachusetts 4th of July Committee float. Very, very pretty. Sequins, red, white, and blue, certainly depicting our country's flag. What a great job and what a big job it must have been for them to get that together. We thank them again for coming here and joining with others in thanking, helping Albany celebrate its tricentennial. Following the Pittsfield 4th of July Parade Committee, we have the 199th Army Band, otherwise known and designated as the Governor's Band. Let's give a listen now to the 199th Army Band, designated by the Governor as the Governor's Band. Mountain Division veterans.
Following those is the 199th Army Band, New York Army National Guard. And following them will be the 1st Battalion, 105th Infantry, New York Army National Guard. This 1st Battalion of the 105th Infantry of the 27th Brigade, New York Army National Guard is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Baker of DeFreesville. This unit epitomizes the concept of citizen soldiery and traces its history back to the Revolutionary War. Nicknamed the Apple Knockers, the battalion has units in Schenectady, Amsterdam, Troy, and Leeds. The unit has fought in the Civil War, the Mexican War, the Spanish-American War, and World War I. During World War II, the Apple Knockers were part of New York's famed 27th Infantry Division and saw action in the Southwestern Pacific Theater. If you give a listen, you can hear their chant as they go by. Will be the 27th Rear Area Operations Center from New York. The citizen soldiers of the 27th Rear Area Operations Center, New York Army National Guard, are residents of the Capital District. The unit commander is First Lieutenant David Slocum of Schenectady. The 27th Rear Area Operations Center was organized in 1971. Its mission is to coordinate security and rear area battle operations for a corps-sized force. This means neutralizing or defeating enemy attacks behind the front lines of friendly troops. The unit recently demonstrated its skills during Exercise Celtic Night, which involved over 6,000 New York Army National Guard troops. Celtic Night was conducted at 4 active Army posts along the East Coast over a 2-week period.
Following the 27th Support Center Regular Army of the New York Army National Guard, we have the 10th Mountain Division veterans, to be followed by the 42nd Infantry Division Band, and something that I'm sure all the young folks might be interested in seeing, and certainly those of us that are a little older remember we have the 1st Battalion of the 210th Armored Division, and if we'll get those, we can get those tanks from the Scotland Avenue Army on camera, They're humongous, and I'd remind anybody that's listening, if you have any young ones and they're away from the TV, I think it'd be a good idea if you brought them over now and let them get a look at our one of our best New York Army National Guard armored divisions.
The 28 members of the Capital District 10th Mountain Division Veterans Association represent more than 400 national members of the historic World War II division. The 10th Mountain Division was organized in November of 1941. A purely volunteer unit, and the only one of its kind, underwent their mountain training in Colorado. The division was formed under the counter of German mountain warfare threats. In 1945, the 10th Mountain Division broke the Axis powers' Gothic line, the Italian Aspians, which had failed to fall during 2 of the previous attacks. The 10th participated in the battles of River Ridge Mountain, Belvedere, The division was deactivated after World War II. Today's tradition lives in the newly reactivated 10th Mountain Division Light Infantry stationed at Fort Drum, New York.
Following them will be the 42nd Infantry Division Band. This division band is part of the New York Army National Guard's 42nd Infantry Division. The band is commanded by Warrant Officer Deborah L. Morishita. The drum major is Sergeant Terrence Edwards. As a unit, the 42nd Infantry Division was organized in 1917 and nicknamed the Rainbow. Division by Colonel Douglas MacArthur, who served as its chief and staff. During World War I, it was the first National Guard division to arrive in France, where it participated in 6 major campaigns. Serving with the division at the time were the poet-soldier Joyce Kilmer and the fighting priest Father Duffy. During World War II, the 42nd fought through Germany, participating in the Rhineland, Alsace, and Central Europe campaigns. The Rainbow Warriors were the first to liberate the Nazi concentration camp at Dachau. Today, the citizen soldiers of the division are stationed at units across the Empire State. Following them is the 1st Battalion, 210th Armored New York Army National Guard, and it is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Brian M. Noonan. The unit, which is stationed at Albany's New Scotland Avenue Armory, traces its lineage back to 1860 when it was organized as the 10th Infantry Regiment, New York State Militia. It has served in the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, and the World Wars I and II. Like many other Guard units, it has undergone many reorganizations. It was founded as an infantry regiment. In 1947, it became an anti-aircraft artillery battalion. In 1960, it was redesignated as an armor battalion. The 210th is currently assigned at M4A5 battle tank and the M11 3A2 armored personnel carriers. In 1987, as part of the force modernization program, the 210th will receive the M608A3 tank. And let's have a look at the tanks. Here they come now. lot of military personnel here today, as you can see.
Next we have the Tri-City Building Trades Council with their oxen.
But I think we'll have a long wait for them as we do have so many military personnel. Certainly we're blessed with a lovely day today. As you can see from some of the camera shots we're having now, there is quite a crowd downtown in Albany today.
Take those flags. Take the flag on the bottom. Here we go, back in action now. We have the first place Division 5 float of a labor of love sponsored by the Tri-City Buildings Trades Council, Albany Central Federation of Labor, Mr. George Van Etten, Capitol Repertory Theater, New York State Power Authority, Griffin Media Group, Mr. Len Tantillo, VF Connor Company, and the Colony Sign Shop. Sponsored by the Tri-City Building Trades Council with auction depicting the start of the labor of love several hundred years ago at the start of the city of Albany.
Trades Council is made up of 26 local unions representing 15 different trades. The Tri-Cities building trades have constructed a float, as you can see, that is a combined effort of many talents. The idea was researched to closely depict the progress made in Albany over a 300-year period. Thank you to Mr. George Van Etten, Capitol Repertory Theater, L.A. Swire Construction Company, the New York State Power Authority, Capital District Central Federation of Labor, and especially Mr. Len Tantillo.
Following the Labor of Love float, we have the Local 201 of the Painters. Passing in camera now, we have Jim Coyne with former, I think, State Senator Herman Badilio, the United Brothers of Carpenters and Joiners, the Bricklayers and Allied Craftsmen, Local 6, Albany, New York, the Plumbers and Steamfitters, Local number 7, the Laborers Local 190, Albany, New York, being led, I assume, Sam Frazzini is in there somewhere. Sam, where are you? International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 106. Following them, labor certainly turned out for this great parade, and we'd like to thank Harold Joyce, the president of the building trades for the Capital District, for bringing out all his subordinate groups. See something behind the Local 106 of Albany, New York operating engineers. Oh, the iron workers. Local number 12 from Albany, New York. So we didn't. Following them, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Well, let me just count up here. I think we must have had 7 or 8 local labor organizations. They all came out here to participate, and the float itself was great. The auction concept was surely something that does bring us back in time. See if you can find the New York State Police Mounted Patrol. I know it's in there some way. It's signed by a guy. Coming on camera now, we have the Mounted Patrol of the New York State Division of State Police. Let's take a look at the Mounted Patrol. Barry Betty and the Duke Incorporated, some folks that we gave some thanks to earlier as members of the Tricentennial Parade Committee, and some supporters and subscribers, and we thank them for providing some of their equipment here today to so some of the folks that are unable to march or be able to ride along. Next we have a float with a 300th anniversary birthday cake sponsored by the United Cerebral Palsy of Schenectady, New York, and the car pulling the float sponsored by the Scotia New York Lions. And we thank the Lions and we thank the UCP of Schenectady, New York for agreeing to come down and participate with us here today.
float coming from the senior citizens. This float was sponsored by the Dime Savings Bank of New York and the Tricentennial Commission. The float represents the 3 seals of Albany. The first seal, chartered in the city of Albany in 1686, was a jewel crown, and it signifies letters of ALB. The second seal, adapted in 1752, portrays the city of a flourishing beaver trade. The third seal and present seal of Albany, adapted in 1794, represents all contributions of the early affluence of a famous city. The 7-foot tree is hand-decorated with white silk flowers. Senior citizens with float are from various senior citizen centers in Albany County. And again, a special thanks to the Dime Savings Bank for sponsoring that float.
Following the Albany County Commission and Dime Savings Bank float, we have the Beaver Float Society for the Animal Protection and Legislation. Band, steel, traps, volunteers for Express Wildlife, Wine and Steel, New York. Thanks very much for the Beaver Float. Captive Nations Committee of the Capital District, New York Street, calling for religious freedom, social freedom, political freedom, representing Lithuania, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and there might have been another sign or two there that we couldn't see. We're sorry. Captive Nations Committee. Yeah. Coming on camera now, we have an honor guard from, I think, I can't quite see the flag, but I think it's from the town of Bethlehem, New York.
Yes, this is the Village Volunteers Pipe and Drum Corps, incorporated from the town of Bethlehem. The drum major is Buzz Olson. We thank everyone that has come down here today to join us. They certainly are making this a wonderful parade.
The town of Bethlehem color guard, followed by the Village Volunteers Fife and Drum Corps.
As you can see, are the Village Volunteer Pipe and Drum Corps.
Following the Albany and Lom, the Village Volunteers Pipe and Drum Corps, representatives of the Bethlehem Chamber of Commerce and the Captive Nations Committee, we have the Ova Shalom Tennis Association with a classic Tiffany car with Shalom. Representatives of the Bethlehem Ellesmere Chamber of Commerce saluting Albany with a happy birthday sign on what looks to me to be an old Model A or Model T, I don't really know, but it's carrying the Bethlehem Town Attorney, Bernie Kaplowitz. Bernie? Bethlehem Glenmont entry, perhaps vintage Chevrolet, maybe? Something with a rather large horn. The Bethlehem Clarksville historical entry carrying the Bethlehem Town Clerk. And the Bethlehem, something that we can't see because the banner's folded over, carrying a sign that you might have observed on the front, Hoover for President. If anybody knows what year Herbert Hoover ran for president, if you'd like to call the library and let us know, we'd be very interested in announcing that.
Following this fine collection of old cars, we do have an entry from the Empire State Aerosciences Museum. The Empire State Aerosciences Museum is a non-profit corporation chartered by the Education Department of the state of New York. The objectives are to establish an aeroscience museum in the Capital District featuring the history of civilian and military aviation aerospace achievements in New York State since the early 1900s. The museum's float is a 1/3 scale replica of the Curtiss Pusher Albany Flyer aircraft commemorating the first flight from Albany to New York City in 1910. The model was constructed by Al Hunstruck, Education Director of the Schenectady Museum. And thank Al for that lovely float.
Passing in review now, looks like to be an old Packard, Miss Albany of 1957. Being chauffeured by the automobilists of the Upper Hudson Valley, Betty, Barry, and LeDuc Incorporated. Great contributors to the parade, great participants. Next, we have an Albany Fire Department 1901 steamer. They say that the reason they built all the firehouses on the top of hills in the city of Albany was because it was easier for the horses to get to a fire, obviously by running downhill rather than trying to run uphill. Now, I don't know whether there's much truth or whether it's fact or fiction, but that's the story they tell me. All fire department station houses were built on top of hills so that the horses could run down to the fire. Following the Fire Department 1901 steamer, we have an old ice truck with the Joe Gallo inscription on the side, selling coal, oil, and ice and wood, which is quite interesting. Next we have the Polish Societies of Albany, being led by the Polish American Community Center of Albany, New York. Polish American Citizens Club, the Polish Community Center of Albany, being chauffeured this afternoon by May's Trucking Service, Waterville, New York. Let's give a listen now to the band of the Polish American Citizens Club of Albany, New York. Pretty representatives here from the St. Casimir School in Albany. Following the Spanish societies and coming on camera now, we have representatives of the Hispanic Heritage Association. It looks what to be a very colorful float. At least the young ladies that are preceding the float are dressed rather gaily. They have their straw sombreros on. But let's give a listen now to the Hispanic Heritage Association band playing Happy Birthday to Albany with obviously a somewhat of a Latin beat. From Uruguay, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Chile. Hispanic Heritage Association, being chauffeured by the automobilists of the Upper Hudson Valley.
Following the Hispanic Society, we do have an entry from the Junior League of Albany. This is an exclusively educational and charitable. Its goal is to develop the potential of its members for voluntary participation in community affairs and to demonstrate the effectiveness of trained volunteers. It's been in existence since 1917, and the organization holds various fundraising events and gives thousands of dollars annually to community projects. Thank you to George Weinenheimer, the Albany Therapeutic Grinding Center, the Watkins Spring Company, Albany Appliance Distributor, Inc., Michael Meyer of the Glenmont Elementary School District.
Following the Senior League entry, we had the Siena College Color Guard, and now we have some Telephone Pioneers of America Clown Troupe, Telephone Pioneers of America Float, to be followed by a great pipe band from Troy, New York, the Tara Hall Pipe Band. Right now, we're viewing Siena College, 50 years of shaping the future. Great college. Obviously, my alumni, we'd like to say hello to Father Hugh Hines, the president of the college. Thank him for his entrance in the parade. Always a great addition, and it's nice to see Siena down here in the public eye. Telephone Pioneers of America Clown Troupe. We see Chapter 57, Mid-State, Empire State. We see Pioneer Clown Troupe. We see representatives from Dutchess County, Poughkeepsie, New York, carrying an old-fashioned payphone. There's Ma Bell being pushed in something there. Hi, how are you? How you doing? Reach out and touch someone. I think I've heard that slogan before in television commercials. Representatives of the Telephone Pioneers of America Clown Troupe. An old lineman. They should have the Glenn Campbell record going on there. Lineman for the county. See, there's a little sign there. Telephone, first telephone central office in New York State. Opened near this site March 18th, New York. Doesn't say where. Perhaps it was Albany. Loyalty, Service, Fellowship, 1911-1986. Thank you to the New York Telephone Company and the New York Telephone Company pioneers for their participation. An old service truck from
Coming
the
on
New York
camera
Tel.
now, we have some representatives from Hurley's Bar and Grill, known as Hurley's Girlies. This is a women's softball team that is now participating in its 12th season. The team is one of the founding members of the Claws, Capital League All-Women's Softball Team. Thank you to Lang Finn Construction Company, August Ball Contracting Company, and of course, Kevin McGeary and Red Carr of Hurley's.
Hurley Girlies softball team.
I would at this time again like to thank the Albany Public Library for the use of its facilities today. And the special thanks go to our crew. Again, they are Bruce Jennings, John Malone, Philip Schmitz, Kevin Morrow, Todd Aubrey, and Gerald Giuseppe. And a very special thanks to our producer, John.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1:45 on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. At the moment, I'd say that we're about 2/3 away from this parade, parade's end. So the original estimate of 2.5 hours, 10:30 to 1 o'clock, seems to have expanded a little bit. We might now be looking at around the 2 p.m. quit time. Coming on camera now, we have the Queens Village Queens, a drum and bugle marching band, color guard from Warwick, Orange County, we think, New York. Let's get a look at the Queen Village Queens. Certainly thank them for coming up here to Albany and helping us participate in this great Tricentennial parade.
What number are you on?
84. Academy here in Albany, New York. A great school and a fine showing here now with the. Let's take a look at the Albany Academy cadets.
We do have to say thank you to Richard Cristaldi for bringing us the Clinton High School Marching Band today.
Following the Albany Academy drill team action there, we have a contingent here on the float from the South End Concerned Citizens, and we'd like to welcome them to the parade and thank them very much for the concern that they are showing. And if you've been down in the South End of the city at all lately, you have to be impressed by the development, the control of the development, the growth of the development. They've maintained so much of the history of the city of Albany down in the South End. That is where a lot of our history emanated from, and we thank them for participating in the parade. Next, coming on camera, we have the North Albany Neighborhood Association, the Central American Solidarity Alliance, the German Club of Albany, the Troy Germania Hall, the Midway Fire Department, Miller Brewing Company, the Albany Schenectady Estonia Society from Schenectady, New York. Albany Lumber District, 1686-1986. God bless America. Love thy neighbor. Happy he who dares courageously to defend what he loves. Attitude is what makes or breaks it. We are mighty proud of our home, North Albany. Sign presented, I presume, and provided by Matthew Bender. More vintage cars. Howie Kennicott from North Albany driving Kennicott's bus. How are you, Howie? Mayor's Cup being transported by Kennicott's bus. Charlie Weaver's Home Cooking and Cocktails. Now, who's that little fella sitting on the front end of that Cadillac? I wonder if that could be Charlie Weaver. Charlie Weaver's Home Cooking and Cocktails. Hello, Mr. Weaver. Hey, what's up here? Charlie, how you doing? I love New York after the parade. Join us at our rooftop terrace. Pagliacci Ristorante, 44 South Pearl Street, French and Italian cuisine. Well, we won't go through it all, but thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us in the parade. Hi, sister. Following the North Albany contingent, we have the Central American Solidarity Alliance. July 19th, 1986, 300 years of Albany. They're helping us celebrate our Tricentennial. 7 years of freedom in Nicaragua. The sign reads, Stop U.S. Intervention in Central America. And once again, the Central America Solidarity Alliance. Like it right now? Have a pipe piper is bringing it right down in the river.
Somehow I doubt it.
Central American Solidarity Alliance. division, second place, division number 5. We have a float coming up here. It may be from the German-American Club of Albany. Yes, it is, the German-American Club of Albany. Anything special you'd like to say about it? Eagle Brewery, Hendricks Brewery, Weber Brewery, Silver Brewery. You fellas didn't drink any of that. We go now with the German-American Club of Albany float, 1895. Hinkle, Hendricks, Weber, and Dobler. I'm not old enough to remember what those names connote, but I suspect, looking at, from judging the fellows sitting inside, that at one time we may have had beers, German beers in Albany by those names. Thank you. Tricentennial Hall from Troy, New York. A little accordion music.
Following them, we do have representatives from the Midway Fire Department and Midway Rescue Squad. The Midway Fire Department was organized in 1938 and the Rescue Squad in 1948. Both groups' members are proud to have served the needs of the community for so many years. A special thanks to the residents of the Midway Fire District for their support throughout the years.
To the Midway Fire Department. Followed by a couple other department cars. Next coming on camera with the green and white insignia, one that's familiar to all of us. Oddly enough, they're stopping right in front of the Washington Avenue Army, the home of the Albany Patroons professional basketball team. Following the Albany Patroons, we have the Miller Brewing Company float. I can't get a good look at it from here, but I dare say it's probably a replica of a container that would carry Miller beer. The Albany Patroons and their cheerleaders. Had a great season, a great team led by their president, Jim Coyne, who you saw march by earlier with Aaron Badilio. The Albany Patroons. Unit 91, representatives of the Miller Brewing Company. Miller made the American way. Miller made the American way. Mason and Sheen, the saviors of Capital Land Records. Fix 106. Next we have representatives of the Mullen Moving and Storage that are presenting to us here during our Tricentennial Parade. Moving past and present, 1880, our first band, 1986, our newest band. The Mullen Moving and Storage Company. Let's get a look at the first band in 1880 and the latest band, 1986. Have a listen here to the Mullen Corporation Band.